Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday morning trading room. Just bear with me a moment. We'll get the screen share working. Okay. So, this was yesterday's day in the NASDAQ. Loads of volume. Market not going anywhere. That's always a sign. Don't always know a sign of what, but big bars are supposed to have big volume. Small bars are supposed to have small volume. So when you have a rather indecisive bar with the market finishing almost the same price that it started the day, and you have a lot of volume on that day, you got to wonder why. What's going on? At any rate, the market closing looks like at around the 76.20, 76.30 zone. Opening this morning, we're pushing 76.90, so there is a gap below us. But you can see we are still trading within this sideways trading range. We're still stuck, looks like, between 7,800. And I think I would be inclined to do a bit of a trend line across the bottom, in which case it looks like the bottom end might be around 74.50. But so long as the market is moving, we still have opportunity, and really that's all that we're after. With that big opening gap, though, I don't know. Let's see here what it looks like on the Eagle. Well, the Eagle, since the London session, has been in decline, so that means that the rally came through the Asian session, and sure enough it did. So the market closing, settling in a little bit, then the Asian session opens, and look at that rally. We don't see rallies like that through the day. Well, if you like your first in-sync Eagle signal, you got it right here about a minute after the buzzer. And you're kind of working that one right now. I think I would be inclined to wait a little bit. I've never understood how some guys manage to trade the open. I've studied it a bit. I've researched it. There's a few strategies out there, but I don't know. I think I'll just wait a little. Nothing wrong with waiting. Doesn't usually cost anything. Well, we're back to the hard edge. There's a little bit of a hard edge bounce and a green bar sell here on the Eagle. Typically, we see tests of the extreme for these kinds of things, but even just glancing here at the Eagle with the overnight, it has a little bit of a sideways trading range look to it. So I'm just gonna keep waiting a little bit longer. Well, we are building a sideways range, it looks like, which is not all that unusual. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is wait. We're always so anxious to do something. We feel we should be doing something. If we're not doing something, we're not making money. Well, sometimes. Sometimes when we do something and we shouldn't be doing it, well, we may not be making money. It may be costing us money, which to me is far worse. So we'll just hang out a little bit longer here. All right, well, let's see. Are we going to get some sort of breakout happening now? This is essentially the range that's been established since the market opened. All right, so this is the breakout. Let's see if we get a retest. Okay, there's one counter bar. Well, it's a pretty good looking retest, but ideally I like to see two bars move against me. I just feel that it makes for a stronger setup. All right, so at this point, I can put my just in case order to buy up here. I'll set my profit target. We're back into the hard edge now, so this is normally when we anticipate some sort of reaction. Oh, I missed Ray's comment here. He says the 5-minute chart is pretty sideways as well. A lot of times it's useful, to have another perspective, like a 5-minute chart. Okay, we're drifting back inside this zone. They need to recover soon. We're against the Bollinger Suite here. What I mean is I'm looking for a rally, but the Bollinger Suite is quite, well, fairly bearish here at the moment. Well, we did get a couple of signals here. One on the Raptor, a comparable signal on the Falcon. Of course, the Hawk is going to produce signals because, hey, it's the Hawk. That's what it does. We can pretty much scrub the buying attempt. While I think the market may continue higher today, that's we'll always have a chance to re-enter if the market trades back up there. This is similar to what happened yesterday, where the retrace was too big. The market came all the way back down here. I threw a short order down below here, only to watch the market break and then reverse. Not a whole lot in the way of structure. In hindsight, we had some fantastic signals. Oh, nice trend change signal right there. Another trend change signal coming the other way. Both actually in sync with the Bollinger Suite, which I suppose would have made it a little bit easier to trade. Oh, a late filter entry signal right here. I've waited this long, I may as well wait a little more. Oh, they're holding that trend line pretty well, aren't they? Do I want to try to short it? tagged the trend line here, so there's going to be a little bit of a bullish pushback. We actually produced a number one signal here on the Raptor, and we have a late filter entry signal coinciding in the whatchamacallit, in the Falcon. I don't know if I want to short it. All right, let's set it up. Second push on this number one signal. If the bottom comes out of the market, doesn't seem as active as yesterday, that's for sure. That's probably why we're sideways as well. A few people staying away, perhaps. You can see we're working on a reversal signal here, a soft edge buy, but when a market's sideways, remember, to have a reversal signal, you first have to have something to reverse. So there needs to be something resembling a trend. You may call this recent move a downtrend, and I wouldn't argue with you. Personally, I like to see a little bit more commitment before I look for a reverse. All right, we're in. Second push on this number one signal coinciding with the number three signal. I'm going to hold my stop above the last swing. Oh, look at that. Same thing as yesterday. You get the breakout and then the pushback. Ooh, I hate that. It's such an amateur move. Trading the breakout. They're just waiting for the breakout traders. Ah, they got me too. Darn it. Ron's asking what news today. I don't know. I didn't check the reports calendar. I don't know if there's anything on the books for today. No. Nothing that should cause the market any grief. Only report of significance this week is on Friday. Pre-market, we've got the non-farm payroll. Well, we're back to the hard edge now. And this current little leg lower is either going to turn out to be a test of the extreme, or a trend resumption. How's that for sitting on the fence? All right, let me go back here to the Raptor. They're now our hard edge bounce signal. Well, my stops are in the correct place. That's the good news. The bad news. Ray says, news break from the investing.com. Williams says economy looks weaker than previously thought. I always chuckle when I hear an economist forecasting doom and gloom. That is their stock in trade. When was the last time you heard an economist forecast something good? When was the last time you ever heard an economist say, the economy is strong, things are looking great, the markets should be responding well for the next year, maybe two? When have you ever heard that? When have you ever heard an economist say the economy is stronger than previously thought? You don't have to think too hard about that, because you'll never hear an economist tell you good news. Why is that? Well, because there is no downside to forecasting bad news. Think about it. If you say, oh dear, we're heading for another recession, folks, the economy is weaker, things aren't looking very good, and the markets rally through the roof, nobody cares. Right? Nobody cares. Nobody remembers. Nobody cares. But if the economist is out there saying, oh, yeah, no, we're doing well, everything's rosy, the economy is strong, and then there's a hiccup, trade talks fall through, or there's an embargo or whatever. Well, now everybody looks at the economist and says, well, you don't know what you're talking about. We're not going to listen to you. And all of a sudden, the guy's out on the street looking for a real job. So you have to take that kind of news with a grain of salt, and a very, very big grain of salt. Okay, caught a little bit of a break on that. Thank goodness my stops were far enough away. Good lesson in keeping your stops a reasonable distance from your trade. Remember, I tried to keep my stops. Oh, I guess I entered right there. I tried to keep my stops 2 swings back. So for this trade, 2 swings would have actually, an initial stop would have been back there. Now that's a little rich for me. I can't afford that. So I took this little intermediate swing right here, counted this kind of as 1, this as 2. It's kind of more like 1.5, but it did the trick. It is not at all uncommon to see the market violate the last swing in search of support for the breakout. It is unlikely that the market will violate the last 2 swings. Well, hooray for us, managed to turn that one into a profit. And I'll admit it, there was a certain amount of luck in that one. Yeah, like Ray says regarding the economists, he's never heard it in his time. Yeah, you never will. Scoundrels that they are. Well, let's see now. We got a little bit of a trend going on. be. Bears are reasonably strong here this morning. Don't know if I'm going to call it a trend yet. I don't know if we're going to get another trade off here this morning. We're getting some follow-up selling signals here. All right, a little bit of a bullish pushback now. You got to know the buyers are going to show up here sooner or later. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have been such a chicken on this leg lower here, because the market did make a commitment to the downside. I got my profit. I could have tried one more of these discretionary signals, but I don't know. The market, just the way they're behaving today, there doesn't seem to be much flow. In fact, I would not be opposed to attempting a counter trend signal here. While it's counter trend intraday, if you remember on the daily chart, we do have a little bit of a bullish flavor there. Falcon already getting a little bit more bullish. In fact, we're going to have a buy signal here in a minute. The Raptor also with our counter trend signal. Oh, a matching set of counter trend signals. All right. Let's now, if you're looking for a trade to follow me on, this may not be the strongest of signals, but we do have kind of a 2-3-2 type setup here. We had the little bounce off of the hard edge. Let me explain. The 2-3-2 is when we get a counter trend signal, then we get a with trend signal, then we get another counter trend signal. Tends to make for a little bit of a stronger counter trend setup. Now, we did not get the number 3 signal in here, did we? Oh, see, here's a good 2-3-2. So there's a 2, there's the 3, here's the 2, the market went up. We did not get the number 3 signal to short, but we did get a bit of a hard edge bounce all the same. So that's what I'm basing it on. We'll see if we get a little bit of a move up here now to the hard edge. Come on, you can do it. The Bollingers are in sync as well, the Bollinger Suite. Got to get above 76.76. If we can get above there, that's kind of the same zone as where the market made the swing down here. If we can get above there, we'll probably see it drift toward the top end of this little range, which would put us back at the hard edge. Come on, one more bar. All right, I'm going to chicken out and take the trade to break even. Don't tag me. Come on. Sneak a couple extra dollars here. Oh, you stinkers. Oh, really? It's not looking very promising right now. a couple of ticks I was late buying in. Had I bought on the hash mark, I bought a couple of ticks late. Had I bought on the hash mark, it looks like it hit our high probability target on the number and then gave us this little reverse. I didn't really want to leave my stops back and try to ride out the swing, but oh well. I suppose I could have just tried to scalp out. Just take my 50 bucks, say thank you very much, see you later. Well, that'll buy a coffee and a donut and pay a commission. There's that number 3 signal now on the hard edge bounce, so the seller's taking their turn now. This may turn out to be a test of the extreme. And if it does, well, then there's a reasonable expectation the market should head higher short term. Thanks for the heads up, Ray. Ray says we are at yesterday's high, 76.76 3/4. Let's see if we get another trade going on here. I do need to close the room here at the bottom of the hour. Tight little ranges, and you can see we're flip-flopping on our signals. We're going higher, we're going lower. We're going higher, we're going lower. Got another 232 type setup. I'm not sure I would do anything at this point without a second push on the signal. Okay, we're back near the hard edge. The hawk's in a bit of a twist. This is starting to look like a test of the extreme. Now we've got that hurdle at the hard edge to get over. They're backing off a little. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. There's the pushback. That makes me feel a little better about a potential buy. At least I see where the sellers are. So depending how anxious you are for a trade, you could look to buy the market when it gets above that high. Probably going to get, well, we're going to have a first micro macro cross. There we go. We got the first micro macro cross in the hawk. If it continues higher, we're going to produce a trend change signal here in the falcon. Just not a lot of follow through for the buyers or the sellers. All right. Well, if you're going to hang out here, you could almost bracket this tiny little range. Look for a breakout, a retest. It'll probably be pretty quick. And you could look to buy above. You could look to short below. Right now, that's kind of where the market is at. And it looks like they may try to do a little bit of a run up. So the nod to the buyers, at least short term. I'm going to get a trend change signal here in the Falcon and an early cloud crossover here in the Raptor. Okay, gang, I got to go. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.